You know, there's nothing like cracking that cellophane and pulling that record out. It just smells great.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Unlike any other.
With your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bod Father.
Man, this stuff rocks.
Yo, I'm Doug.
I'm Tyler.
I'm Tom, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Hour, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father. And as always, I'm bringing you guys and gals awesome interviews today. It's an honor and a privilege to welcome Tom Noir, Tyler Fleming, Doug Lane of October Noir. So goth, doom, metal, and rock October Noir will release their album Letters to Existence on September 22nd. And you want to check out their single that's out right now called Reverence. And also, too, my friend, Raquel Figalo, Public Relations, is starting a live show at the Whiskey in October for this band.
Right.
So how you guys doing?
Great.
Good. Contain yourself, Tyler. I know, just calm down. Doing all right. I'm very tired. Glad to be here. How excited are you guys to have this upcoming album entitled Letters to Existence set to be released next month, man? How good does it feel?
It feels really good, so I don't have to fuck with it anymore.
Yeah, it feels really good to have it done. I didn't think that we'd ever get to this point where it would actually be done, and it is, so it's a good thing.
Did the album turn out exactly the way you guys wanted it to?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I was pretty much happy with it. It wasn't anything I looked back on and said, all right, I'd rather change this to this, which, I always had that instance with the other albums. But yeah, this one actually I'm very happy with.
Mm-hmm.
So having this album completed, it's gotta feel great though to get this done and just move on and be done.
Well, I mean, it's good that it's done, but then there's other things that pick up in its place. So it's never a stopping moment. It's something else that just keeps you going.
Yep, you got to still keep rolling that boulder up the hill.
October Noir combines elements of synthy 80s rock with a more modern metal twist. Compares to bands like Echo and the Bunnymen, and plus The Cure to Type O Negative and My Dying Bride. That's a big compliment for you all.
Yeah, it's a compliment in its own right. I mean, that was kind of the whole purpose. It's kind of like the 80s hair bands where everybody was doing it. We just kind of want to play in the same swimming pool because you don't have bands like that anymore. Type O was the first one to do it, really, outside of Black Sabbath, but just with the more deeper vocals. So, it was kind of the intention of it all was to swim along with it, if possible.
I think it's a huge compliment. I mean, to be compared to Type O Negative and The Cure and Echo and the Bunnymen and all the bands that kind of encompass that sound, that's the biggest honor in the world to me. My favorite bands are the genre that we do. So I've grown up listening to that stuff, and to be able to play that stuff and for people to love it, it's a huge honor. I got to say this too. You had to channel your inner Peter Steele on this, like the old Type O Negative, because like it's good. This is a really good album, and the songs I dig off of it is A Halo, Hung from Horns, Summer to Autumn, Tourniquet. Oh my God, Tourniquet is one of my favorite songs off this freaking album, man. And Endless Lonely is also very good. So I'm not going all deep in on this because I want everybody to go out and check this out.
I'm just glad you listened to it, because we had one guy who was like, I hate to say it, but I didn't really check you guys out before doing this. I'm like, what are we doing here? So yeah, it's good.
Man. It's not hard to sit down and just throw it on and do whatever and listen to it. It's not hard. Would you say this album is, I wouldn't say more heavier, but it's more emotional than your previous album, possibly?
I think it is very much more emotional. I wouldn't really necessarily say heavier in some terms, but maybe darker.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more of the 80s influence that was brought in this time. So I think overall, yeah, that was probably the big difference, a leap from the other ones.
What was the approach for the album, guys, when you first started writing on it and getting ideas for it? Was it just something that you just had an idea for what you were looking at, or was you just throwing stuff against the wall and see what stuck?
No, I mean, a lot of the writing process is just like a vocal pattern might pop into my head, and then I have to write around it. But a lot of it's just kind of finding out what we can bring in and play with. I mean, there's been plenty of times where I'll sit and I'll record something 3 different times and write something 3 different times and not like it or how it's kind of fitting with the song, and I'll rip it all back out and we start again.
A lot of this album came from a very tumultuous time, so it's going to be very relatable lyric wise to people that are in negative spots in their life, bad relationships, just downright depressive in a lot of ways. But there's also a lot of triumph in there as well. So
Yeah, I'm the second most senior member of the band. I was here for the writing of the last album, Fate, Wine, and Wisteria. So kind of my experience with writing this is I had a lot of ideas that were in the bank that were left on the cutting room floor for the last album that I ended up bringing forward as ideas for this album. And, as musicians, we're constantly making little things for ourselves, like in the off season of actually putting together a product. But, there's some good nuggets of music that you get out of that. And, I'd say that's where I got started with my contributions to the album.
Letters to Existence also features a link to many Easter eggs with samples from readings of Dante's Inferno and a halo hung from horns, as well as nods to many other legends throughout this history. What made you guys throw this in here too, to put some Easter eggs in this?
I normally like doing it just with any of the material we're doing. The album 13, of course, that was based off of like Vampire the Masquerade and the 13 clans therein. But I also included like the little symbols throughout the artwork of each clan. So little things like that. It's like the gonorrhea comment earlier. That song it's on She's Gone, and it's literally She's Gone, the Rhea. So little things like that you could play with, and it just kind of, I don't know, it adds a different element or space to it.
Yeah, I'd say putting those little Easter eggs in our music has been here for a while now. It's kind of a staple of how we write the songs. Like off of Fate, Wine, and Wisteria, song Proverbs, we've actually got a musical arrangement from the Garden of Earthly Delights, Hieronymus Bosch. There's a demon in the lower right-hand corner of the triptych, and he's inscribing musical notes on this guy's ass. And I actually played that on the guzheng and layered that up with Mozart's Leck mich im Arsch, which translates to kiss my ass. So we have fun with it, just try to put things in there that reward people for listening intently.
Well, then like a Halo Home from Horns with the Dante's Inferno readings was just a direct pull from the line at the very end that says, I gave you life and you gave me help. So it was like, it'll kind of culminate there. And we needed something in that bridge because it was just dead silence with the kind of musical arrangement. So I reached out to a friend of mine that does voiceover work and had him read off of that.
that addition to Halo was one of the very last things to happen on the album.
Mm.
That's going to be my next question. Did the band add anything differently on this album musically than what fans are accustomed to hearing from October Noir?
I really wouldn't say so. I don't think, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, we've just kind of been all across the board with different things. I mean, there's different little styles and influences from, like Led Zeppelin and Bush and Def Leppard and Motley Crue, or, we're kind of all over the place in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I mean, our approach for writing has always been like everyone in the band is a multi-instrumentalist. Anyone can contribute to any given part of the arrangements for any of the music that we're doing. I guess I don't know. I guess as far as the keyboard arrangements, this is my debut album moving into the position as the full-time keyboard player of the band. And I guess you can kind of see that in some of my chord voicings that I use. But, it's all cohesive and it's familiar to people who know our music. But it's got a little bit of my flavor in it.
Yeah. I think this album is kind kind of a tear away from the last three. I think it's we've kind of went a different direction. It's not as on the nose gothy. There's a lot happening in the new album, and I think a lot of people, when they finally get to sit with it for a little while, I think they're going to really enjoy it.
So is this what we're going to be seeing from now on from October Noir? Is this pattern, or we're just scratching the surface what you guys want to do?
No, I mean, it's just, I think whatever comes. I really don't pre-plan too much ahead. It's just whatever the element is in the moment of writing. It's just whatever comes out.
I was working with Nadia Kodes on the song Forever Haunt, because, man, that's a badass song you guys done with her.
Thank you. Yeah, she is an absolute amazing vocalist. She was the right pick. I've been wanting to do a duet style song for quite some time, and we just could never lock it in for specifics for people. But Nadia came to the table, and she was there, and everything flowed very quickly and very well. It just kind of, it's like watching dominoes fucking fall over, you know.
You'd never guess that it was being written on two different sides of the world.
Yeah, 'cause she was in Russia at the time.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It was fun trying to do the music video alongside of it too. So that took a minute. But
what led the track Forever Haunt to be the first song released off this album? What was it about that song for you guys that said, yeah, that needs to go out first?
In the past, I've never been big on releasing singles from the upcoming album. We'll always do a cover song to kind of, give something and tide people over, and then the album will come out, and that's that. This time around, I felt it was important to have at least a single, but decided that we should probably just do another one, at least give them two, because it's 12 tracks total. So I figured it'd be a kind of a better indicator of what to expect from the album. But Forever Haunt, it was so good. After we had finished it and completed, I was like, we've got to get this rolling and help use that to promote.
We did do the same thing with the last album too, like with Effigy and Windows. We released those prior to the album coming out.
No, we did music video. Well, Windows maybe. Yeah, because that was August 22nd when.
Well, we released Effigy around Halloween.
Did we?
Yeah.
I don't fucking
it's a Halloween song.
I don't even remember. I thought Effigy was released with the albums. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway,
it's hard to keep track. This album will be the fourth album from the band, so there's a huge back catalog for anybody that is interested.
Jeez, man, how long have you guys been writing on this album, though? How long has it been sitting there just grinding?
Over a year.
Jeez, it's a lot of time just to be sitting there writing on this to get it out.
Well, I like to let it marinate and kind of take over, and because you get to a point where you're like, well, this could be done better and this could be done better. So you want to give yourself kind of that buffer room to let it happen. And then you got to have time to master and all that shit too. So
well, yeah, and we were writing on this album in between shows, in between interviews and shows out of town, and just life in general. I think last year we didn't take the time that we should have to run the last album. The band was in quite a little stir for about 7 or 8 months. And that's probably one of the best things that's ever happened to this band, because that is the entire new album right there. There was a lot of trying times with us guys. Just, personal things, but it made some great music.
But you know what, though, Tom? You could be your own worst enemy when you're creating your own music, because you can have something that's totally freaking awesome and still go back and change something in it.
I agree with that. I'm very overly critical.
But it's a good thing.
Yep.
All right, guys, do you feel this new album had to come out swinging for this band after the pandemic and everything that this world has been in, and plus just the band itself?
I really don't focus on come out swinging. I like to keep it atmospheric. That's why I don't like to do EPs or singles and run off of that, which a lot of you bands tend to do. I like to be able to provide an entire package, but also fill up 80 minutes worth of material. So I feel like you get your money's worth. But it also, if it's going to be a stint of the next album, at least you've got enough material to kind of hold you over. So I don't look at it that way. I want the atmosphere to be captured. within it. So not so much swinging, coming out swinging, but just doing what we do, and we just kind of get feedback and see what happens.
How crucial is it to stay true to your musical roots of what you guys been doing from the first day?
It's the pinnacle.
Well, I mean, we really can't step outside of what we do, because even if we were to try to step outside of what we're doing now, it would still wind up sounding like October Noir. We kind of have a path, and we may stray a little bit, but it all winds up being the same sound.
Guys, what's the nucleus that keeps this group moving right along and creating October Noir's music in general? What keeps it together for you all?
Thinking we're actually going to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Pure stupidity.
Yeah, stupidity. Yeah, we're glutton for punishment.
Too dumb to quit.
Yeah, we believe in our music, and we combine our music with our own pain and suffering, and people seem to really enjoy it. So it somehow works out.
So our primary job as musicians is to make music for people. A lot of people would be disappointed if we stopped, so we got to keep doing it.
I wouldn't be.
So I want to put you guys on the hot seat for a second, because I know you had music that helped you guys as you were growing up. Even today, I mean, you still got your anthems that you listen to. I mean, it's like, I got to listen to this song to get me through a good day or whatever, or hey, I'm not having a good day whatsoever, and it's pulled me through. But now you're on that hot seat doing that for people. What's the reaction when you hear somebody come and tell you, say, hey, look, this song right here saved me from hell or whatever?
Yeah, and we do get that quite often.
A lot.
Honestly, yeah, it's honorable. I mean, I can't help but be thankful for them, because it's like it would do for us all growing up on music. We went through the same thing. So yeah, it's very touching. So it's appreciated. Yeah,
when you hear people, when you see people message you, online and tell you that, this song or this song saved their life, it kind of makes your problems seem a little insignificant.
Yep.
And we all screenshot those things and share them with each other. Just, I think it lifts us up, so people will find us in a dark place for some reason. So when they find us and they love to share about it, it kind of makes life seem like, it kind of makes you feel like you're on the right path. Yeah. And that your bad day at work or your bad situation that you're going through at the moment is very insignificant. And that's been a really good thing for me over the past couple of years, is to see those kind of messages.
And you got these people who are diehard, I was going to say an old school type of negative fans, and they're hearing your guys' music that reminds them of that. It makes them not feel like an outcast, like they belong, like they do have a family still.
Yeah, a lot of them. Yeah, and those are the ones that usually come in and say thanks, for filling the void. But I know exactly what they were going through. I was a fan since 1993 when Bloody Kisses came out, and after it was gone, 7 years later, I'm looking at it, this shit's gone, man. So that's why I guess it kind of worked out for me to kind of push in this direction, just from the way that I write, or this fucking voice, or whatever. But yeah, you got your haters too. It comes with the territory, but it can't be touched. You're not allowed to touch it. But then they're off listening to all the other bands that have ripped all the other fucking bands off, and it's just regurgitated shit. So whatever.
No, you guys are doing it right. I don't give a shit what anybody says. I like what you guys are doing. So
thank you.
Keep down that dark path. I like that music. That's good.
A lot of people do, and again, I get it, because I searched for the same as they did with bands that would sound like Typo, and they'd recommend these different ones. I was like, it doesn't sound anything like Typo.
No. And you know what, man? I was told that Peter had a full album that he was working on. They were
planning on going back into writing and preparing another album. Yes.
Yep.
So I see you wearing a Misfit shirt. I don't know if you're familiar with Mike Hideous.
Yep,
sang
sure
Misfit. Yeah. He was actually, Pete was mixing on his cover song the day that he had died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he told me that story. It was crushing, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good God. Was there a track for this album that totally ended up sounding different than what it was intended to, guys? Was there one that kept changing, or no?
Yeah, For Honor was a big one for that.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure that one out, and that one kind of went through a lot of stages of change. Forever Haunt actually was almost 8 minutes, and a lot of that was torn out to get it closer to a more radio-friendly time. So that one was a big one for that. Yeah, probably those two songs.
Any track standing out more to you guys than any right now on this album? I know these are your babies. I completely understand that. But are there any that are standing out for each of you possibly?
She's Gone for me.
Yeah. I'd have to say I'm somewhere between For Honor and Tourniquet. Just the back half of For Honor it's my favorite part of the whole album. Like, it's, if you're in any sort of emotionally vulnerable state, you'll be crying like a baby at the end.
Yeah, I can attest to that. I think I've listened to the back half of For Honor more than I've listened to anything else on the album. The standout tracks for me are Endless Lonely, which was the single that we had released. That was the first single. It's the first song on the album, or the second song on the album. I still believe that is the strongest song probably that this band has ever done. Endless Lonely and Deja Vu. I really believe in that song. It is perfection. It is gothic 69i fan perfection. Deja Vu, For Honor. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me at all. A lot of people like Halo Hung from Horns, and I thought that was my least favorite song. It'll probably be my most favorite song to play.
Yeah, we argued about that one. So I've always had a knack for going, all right, this song right here is going to be the one that everybody fucking flocks to. And I've been right every album. And Tyler and I were arguing about that. He's like, no, it's going to be Deja Vu. I was like, it's going to be a Halo Hung the Horns. And sure enough, he was like, Tom, fuck you. I think you were right.
Well, I think as far as any of our songs goes, that's probably one of the only ones that's suited for a radio edit. So God forbid we get any airplay anywhere. That's probably going to be the one.
I don't care about radio airplay, man. Not a lot of people listen to that shit anymore anyway. Everything's music playlists.
Any songs that didn't make this album we could see on another album, EP, or just a standalone single down the road from you guys, just to release something?
No, usually when coming into the process, as it builds out, if it's not kept, if a riff happens and I say, let's do something different, let's go a different direction, and it rips out, that's it, it's done. So everything that's here is here, and yeah, whatever comes. We'll probably get into maybe some more cover songs at some point, but I know we're actually talking with Nadia about doing an acoustic version of Forever Haunt.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, and almost do it in the sense that it could be almost a rewrite in a way, but still retain. So almost like we're covering our own shit. Best way to put it.
Yeah. And that's not entirely true, by the way. There was one song that didn't make this album, and it was a duet with Mike Hideous.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
It was a song with Mike Hideous, and we couldn't get it right. We're still working it over.
Yeah, Mike and I had started a little project together with another guy, and this was one of the songs that came out of that, and it was so fucking good. I was like, man, I almost want to do something with it to release it. But when we started messing with it, I was like, Mike's vocals are rich, so I don't want to. It's all his vocal work in it, so I was like, it'd look a little weird if we're throwing it on our album and as Mike singing the whole way through. It didn't sit very well with me. So
yeah, it is one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard, and it will see the light of day one day.
Yeah, definitely.
Is the track listing placement important for your album releases, guys?
Absolutely, and it should be that way for anybody releasing an album, because you want to kind of pit the listener into the direction you're looking to go. A lot of ours came down from starting brighter and growing darker until the end. So that's kind of the general consensus.
Is it a collaborative effort from you guys writing on this music, or how do y'all do this?
Yeah, I mean, we all contribute ideas for the arrangements. Lyrically, it's pretty much all Tom.
Yeah, I don't take other people's lyrics.
But yeah, it's a collaborative effort with everyone contributing ideas, but it's all going through a common filter. We got Tom at the helm doing that.
I got to sing it, so.
What's the growth musically you've seen from yourselves working on this album that impresses you guys the most, if anything?
I think for me personally, it's just from a production standpoint or an engineering standpoint, sound-wise. Like I look back at each album that come previously, it's like leaps ahead of each time.
I learned to play keyboards. That's about it.
I learned to kind of sacrifice a little bit of what I think sounds best to suit the song. Because if it was up to me, I would be playing Crash the whole time. You really have to sacrifice what you think and kind of hear a couple of different versions of what sounds the best. You have to be quite a bit selfless in a band.
Yeah, I tried to tell them it leads to a muddy mix if you start crashing away at everything.
Yeah, I'll just do it live. It'll be better. Or it'll be just fine. I can do it live and nobody will know.
Who produced this album, guys?
I did.
So do you like having that freedom and control, just you doing it and not having to have anybody else to do it for you?
I do, in a sense where it's hard for me to put what we're doing into somebody else's hands and then expect them to understand what I'm seeing or hearing that's coming out. And it works that way even for sound guys in venues. It's hard to explain how to get the mix or whatever, right? So I think on the production end, it makes it easier. It's a lot more time consuming, but it makes it easier for me to do it that way.
All right, so we're going to throw October Noir out the window for just a couple minutes. We're going to
Yes, permanently.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about you guys here specifically. If you could write an album equivalent to your favorite band's album, which album would that be, guys, for each of you?
Disintegration from The Cure.
Man, Tom got you all beat. He's like, bam, done.
Mine would be Dark Light by him.
So I'm kind of the dark horse in all of this, considering my musical background. Since I was a guitar player, I was brought up on like the melodic instrumental guitar fusion kind of stuff. My favorite guitarist is Marcos Fogli. I would like to write something like There's Hope.
What's been your most memorable show that the band has been a part of that you still can't believe that you were?
Definitely Gary Newman.
Yeah, I think that's for all of us.
Yeah, opening for Gary Newman.
If you could be a member in an iconic band and play one of their legendary shows, which band would it be and what show would it be?
I can't remember the show. I can't remember the show. I do remember the year. I think it was 2003. But just be Gas Lipstick and just play drums for him. It on any show at any given date. I think I'd be fulfilled.
Michael Jackson.
Really?
I want to see the crowds.
That's true. I mean, good God.
Yeah.
I would have been I would have played guitar for Opeth. The first time I saw them in Atlanta, it was actually the first big concert that I ever went to. That's what I would do. Like they were opening for Dream Theater along with Between the Buried and Me and 3, and it was just such a great night. But Opeth is actually my favorite band. But yeah, if I could do that, I'd just do a set with Opeth.
All right, Tom, I want to ask you this, man, since you do the lyrics and all this stuff. What's been your most toughest song that you've had to write, that you've had to just take a break on and come back and just say, I'm done with this for a while and just come back to it? Has there been one that's just pushed you to your limits possibly?
Yeah, I would say it's probably the last album, probably Proverbs. That was hard to kind of fit all into a perspective of the overall image without trying to make it seem like it was too biblical.
Yeah.
So,
all right, folks, you want to get out and pick up October Noir's new album, Letters to Existence. It's going to be released on September 22nd, and you definitely want to do that. And guys, how can folks stay in touch with October Noir, buy this new album, everything that's under the sun from you guys? How can they do that?
You go to www.octobernoir.org. That's all the physical merchandise. And then we're active on socials like Facebook and Instagram. That's the best way to reach out. Shows, come see us, come out. We've got September 2nd in Brooklyn, New York at Lucky 13. September 3rd in Long Island, New York at 89 North. And then we're shooting over October 13th to Phoenix, Arizona at the Blues. October 15th into LA or Hollywood for Whiskey A Go-Go. and then we're coming back into Tennessee on November 4th for Memphis at High Tones. Yeah, High Tones.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's looking like September 29th, 30th, and October 1st. We're going to be in Tampa, Orlando, and Fort Myers, Florida.
Hey, before I let you go, would you care to do a promo for my show?
Yeah.
Yo, I'm Doug.
I'm Tyler.
I'm Tom, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour. Please get out and check out our Facebook page. It has our podcast link and our YouTube link. That I hope you guys and gals go and subscribe to our YouTube link, because I bring some awesome interviews for you guys and gals out there. Get out and check out October Noir. Pick up this new album entitled Letters to Existence on September 22nd. And please, if you're around the Whiskey A Go-Go in LA, Raquel Figalo, Public Relations, will be throwing a live show for these guys. And Raquel's awesome. If you haven't met her, go talk to her. And guys, thank you so much for doing this interview. And I wish you all nothing but the best of luck as always.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
No problem.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.